All right, so I'm coming on here real quick. Cause I'm gonna do another reading, but I just wanted to come on here and I just was thinking about some stuff, and I kind of just came to the realization about this. Yeah, I definitely feel like I came to some kind of realization about this. Um, it's triggering because it's like, even though if that is the case, I don't understand why it needed to be done, because it's so many people. Um, so yeah, I definitely feel like this is connected, and I really came to this realization while I was taking care of my business, doing what I needed to do for myself, and that's kind of when my thoughts be thinking, or I'll be thinking to myself. I really don't be saying nothing out loud because I am known to talk to myself, but I know that's not a bad thing because I'm still able to do what I need to do day to day. Um, so I know it's not a bad thing. Everybody try to make fun of that and everything, but I know I've been doing that since I've been a child. So I grew up being the youngest child for so long, when my adopted mother was raising me, and then she started taking on caring for other kids once I got to a certain age. So it's not nothing new to me. But but when I was coming to this realization, I wasn't like saying it out loud. I just was like, kind of like, felt like I was piecing it together a little bit in my head. So I'm always talking about how I wrote in my diary and everything. So I wrote about a lot of people in my diary. My mom, my cousin Elena that passed away, and her baby. I talked about my cousins, like the ones that are passed on now. I talked about my childhood crush, which was Shanta. I talked about all those people in that diary. And like Shanta, he passed away before my stuff got taken away from me out of that storage unit. Whatever how that really went, like he passed away before that. So I don't know if he's like connected to that, to everything, but I feel like everybody else, not everybody, because it's even including celebrities that I don't talked about in my diary. So some of them, I guess it depends on who they is. That's what I was like piecing together. It just may depend on who they is, if like they still here or not. Um, but as far as family members of mine's, it's specific family members that I talked about in my family that they are no longer here, right? So um, I feel like that has something, some kind of correlation to my diary, whether anybody's going to admit to that, whether anybody in this city going to admit to that, or anybody higher up is going to admit to that, including my family, and then other people just in the world, whatever, whatever, whatever. Because like I said, I talked about particular people in my family that done passed away within the last, since 2020, or maybe even a little bit before, and that includes all my male cousins that done passed away, 444 on the recording, um, and even my aunts and my uncles that passed away. So I feel like I just was piecing that together. I'm like, damn. And then it included me because the simple fact that, like I said, in the beginning of this stuff, when it started happening, I had people that I didn't even know from Adam to Eve but they from here, and they like younger than me, and it was just certain stuff that people was saying. And then, like, for one instance, I had this incident where I used to go to the library all the time in the beginning of before 2020. So this was like around, this was after my stuff got, the whole scenario happened with the storage unit. This was after that. So I'm going to the library because at that time, that okay, so I was at the apartment, the other apartment, and I had already had lost my job because of that situation. And I was trying to get help through Department of Social Services, trying to get help. So I'm like, they was, I think that's when they started telling me to go down, start telling me to do applications or whatever. So like that one time I went downtown, I remember this boy, he was with these other boys. He came out and said like so and so, and I'm looking at him like, what the, because he was with the boys. He was like with three other boys, and I'm like, how would you? Because I don't know you, I don't talk to you, so I don't know if it was like somebody that was sent to him to say something to try to spark some stuff off, or to try to, basically antagonize me. And I'm a whole adult, and this is a child. That was one incident. Then I had another incident where, I think I was at the library too, and it's like, people, like I said, people be saying stuff when you, like, I don't know if people ever notice that, like, when you be out and about, and not necessarily any saying something's gonna jump off, but you just be minding your own business, doing your own thing, and then, you notice how people be, or I don't know, if it just like catches your eye. Somebody will say something and they'll be talking so loud because they want you to hear them. So, yeah, in that instance, it was a girl. She was like, "Oh, you a rat?" Or no, I don't know if she was really saying it to me, but it just caught my attention. So that's how I know, like, stuff is like, it's like, it's going with my stuff. It's going with the diary. It like basically giving me confirmation. At that time, it was giving me confirmation that my personal writings of what I wrote in there was being spread or whatever, or I don't know if it was being done, like, what, I don't necessarily know the exact form of how it was being spread. I know it was doing that. And then the whole thing with family members, they I feel like they was purposely taken out. They was purposely taken out of here. Specifically the family members that ain't here no more, that don't pass. Like I said, they don't pass since 2020. So I feel like that was like, how I want to say, that was strategically planned. So that would include my Uncle Larry. Now I'm not gonna say the aunts and uncles, they was part of it, but they might have been taken out on purpose too. My Aunt Laura, my Uncle Larry, Aunt Vanessa. Then after that, Aunt Vanessa, it was Pills. But before it was, I don't know if Draquan was first or Pills, but before them two, it was Nuka. So all of that was done on purpose, I feel like, because I spoke all of them in that diary. So that's why I feel like they is not here no more, because I spoke about them in there, and then I was talking about stuff again, including even Rosemary. I talked about Rosemary in 9/11. I just seen on the recording, and that was my childhood friend. Like, I grew up with her, and we went to school together. We went to 30 school together. Um, and I couldn't even bring myself to go see her in a casket because I didn't want to remember her like that. Like, I didn't get to see her a lot after school, even though my aunt stayed in that area for so long that after we graduated and everything, I would see them time to time. But when she just passed right after my cousin Uwap, I could not bring myself to see her like that. Like, I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it. And I just feel like, now that I sat here and thought about it, I feel like all of them, they was taken out on purpose. Whether, however, people trying to say that's how they passed, or they trying to make it be something else. No, these motherfuckers in this city done did that shit on purpose. I don't know who the fuck they been working with, who done fucking mind control they ass to do so. But I definitely feel like it was done on purpose, because what would be the other, what would be the reason? Like, so y'all trying to say, or it's gonna be, that it's always supposed to go like this, is this, that, and the third. No, I'm not believing that. I'm not believing that. I'm not believing that. I'm not believing that. This is not a part of no new world. This is a part of people taking my damn inner thoughts that I wrote down on paper, in a book, in a diary, and using it for their own purposes and benefit, as like what they've been continuing to do since it happened. They've been doing this 11:01 on the recording. They've been doing this since my personal thoughts was wrote down 11:11 on the recording. Since my personal thoughts was wrote down in that diary. What day was that? What year was that? That was 2016, September 2016, when that happened. And ever since then, it's been nothing with chaos in this city and in the whole freaking world. You done took this person's personal thoughts, and whoever hand it went into, and whatever next hand it went into, and whatever next hand it went into after that, or however it was done. You done took somebody's most personal inner thoughts, and I'm not trying to hear it no other kind of way, because like I said, these motherfuckers or people done even collaborated with my family to try to do harm to me, and then would have tried to make it all, and ain't no imagine how many times they don't try to do it, would have tried to make it look like something else. So yeah, I feel like that's this what it is. I don't talk about these particular individuals, family members. I don't talk 1237 on the recording. I don't talk about these family members, certain celebrity members, even people that don't passed away after 2020 that are celebrities. And I talked about them in my diary, and that's been part of it too. This all been done because of stuff that I don't talked about. That was my personal thoughts, and they don't use it as a manual script to all of the stuff that's been going on. Like even with Hydea Broden, I felt that I was gonna meet her one day, and they don't took that away from me. That was part of it too. They done did that because they didn't want me to meet her. I don't know if they feel like, or like, I don't know how people just, like, I just don't understand people logic, or I don't know. It's just, I just really was like I just had, it was, I guess it was kind of like an aha moment. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm glad I'm not crying because I'm able to get this out without crying, but that's what I really feel like it is. Like, I don't sit up here and, like, I guess thank God that my biological mom ain't here, because they would have did something to her too. Like, who knows? She was already gone 91, so you can't do nothing to her. So, and then these mother effers don't want to never tell me where her ashes was at. Nobody don't want to tell me that. Everybody want to sit up here and call somebody names and say that's this, that, and the third, but nobody don't want to tell me that. It was too much planning and plotting going on to try to do stuff behind the scenes. Really, even though it's not really behind the scene, because it's been up under my nose the whole entire time. Been up under my nose the whole entire time of what everybody, like, because ain't no way that but I know it's all part of this covenant cult, whatever culture type stuff that's been going on. This is why it happened. This is why they feel like it's okay to do that. Cause why everybody wearing certain logos? Everybody trying to wear the same logos, and everybody wearing these colors that y'all know about. If it ain't nothing, if ain't nobody been doing nothing, it's like how I be saying that. If you ain't doing nothing, then you ain't got nothing to like. It ain't no reason to be trying to hide nothing. Like you wouldn't. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be the energy of like feeling like people don't want to come near you, or it's like they feel scared. It's like that kind of like scared. I don't know how to explain it, but I guess that's what it is. Cause they know that a lot of shit ain't been right. And then they're going to try to make it in other excuses as to why it happened. Or they want to sit up here and try to make you be to blame for what happened. And you ain't got nothing to do with it. Because at the end of the day, you didn't ask for your most inner personal thoughts. You didn't ask for them to be put out in regards to whoever had something to do with putting them somewhere. You ain't asked for them to be... You didn't give them permission. You didn't give them consent to do that. You ain't give nobody. You ain't give no family members. You ain't give no nobody. You ain't give none of these people no consent to be putting your thoughts about whatever. You didn't give them no consent to be spreading them whatever, how, which way informed that they was. You didn't give nobody no consent for that. Not whatsoever. You ain't getting none of these people, whether they in your city, whether they higher up positions, authorities, whatever the hell they title want to be. You ain't give none of these people no consent for nothing. But they chose to do it anyway. They chose to hurt your people. But then they got your family, they working with your family to try to make it look like it's other stuff. You sat up here and talked in your diary how, because what you grew up watching, you watch a lot of Lifetime. You seen a lot of episodes about missing people. You talked about how you had all these I don't want to say odd pets, but you had all these different kind of pets that you had when you was a kid. All this different stuff, and then people, it done been taken to be ciphered and used and manipulated and beneficial for their own personal reasons, but they don't want to give you no type of credit for it. Or if they want to do give you credit for it, they want you to be willing to do something in exchange for that benefit. You got to be their slave. You got to be wanting to be bondage to somebody or something like that for you to get maybe some type of little piece of whatever. I don't know. And then I feel like it's also too that all of these individuals that I'm speaking about in regards really family member, especially Rosemary and Uwa, well, really all of them. It's like they felt like it was going to be a reason for you to just give up. Even though you love these people with all your heart, they expect that those things happening, they expect that you was just going to want to give up, that you was just going to want to not be here no more. Like that was really the plan, like for you to just take yourself out of here, basically. That's what the plan was, for it to be, for you to want to give up. Knowing how much they knew these people meant to you, and how you brought them, you talked about them in your diary and stuff. They just thought that was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the intention. That was definitely the intention. Ain't no way in shape or form that's not what it was, because I know that's what it was. Like, you couldn't get my mom because she already gone. And they don't, I feel like they don't did the most people that was, well, mainly the people that I talked about in my diary. I feel like that's the main people that they done did harm to. in whatever way so far it has been. I'm hoping that it don't be nobody else, cause who knows? Like, cause I feel like it's the people that don't pass is really been to try to hurt me, to make me. Um, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep going, and if I have to just be able to, like, I don't know, it's not something I'm gonna want to deal with, but I'm just gonna have to because I'm not a weak person, but I'm still gonna want justice for them in whatever shape or form that is. If it ain't in the 3D, it's gonna be spiritually. I know that. Most definitely. Cause I just don't understand from the time that my stuff got my diary, the whole situation with that happened September of 2016. And it was like right after that, the first person that passed away was um let me see. Once I got over to the other apartment and I moved over there, so I stayed with the Indian family for like 2 years. Then when they wanted me to leave because I think somebody came to them and got in their ear and telling them that I was a prostitute or whatever, knowing that I ain't never prostituted a day in my life. I don't have none of that on my criminal record. Um, Cause I know for sure, clear as day. That day I heard them talking overheard them talking in the garage, but they was trying to whisper and stuff. I know I heard them say that. So yeah, I don't know if it was because I don't know the mom, the wife didn't have. I don't know if she had, but it was the I think it was the I think it was the Indian wife, her husband, because it was a guy. It was like a younger guy. So I don't know if it was their son they had to get. I don't know her stepson, but it was them talking. They was talking in the garage, and the door to the little studio that I was renting. It was like right there. Yep. So after that, when I moved from them and got to that apartment, the other apartment that I was at before I ended up moving over here, Page Street. I think Draquan passed away first, and then it was Pills. Draquan funeral, whatever. I don't even know what happened. Like I didn't get to go to his wake. I didn't get to go to his funeral. I didn't get to go to neither one. And I didn't get to go to Pills. I didn't get to go to Pills' wake or his funeral either. Okay, no, but it was Nooka first. Nooka passed away. They allowed me, for whatever reason, they informed me of that because that's when I got back again to work and I started working at Lowe's. And and my family know how sensitive, they know how empathetic and sensitive, and I felt like people use that and use it as a tactic to go against me for, again, their own advantages. For anybody who was supposed to recuperate something. That's, I feel like, what was the purpose of it. I had already stopped smoking weed by then. When I started working at Lowe's, I already stopped smoking weed. I already stopped drinking liquor, even though I wasn't an alcoholic. And I didn't drink liquor all the time. I already stopped dealing with the person that I was dealing with for the longest, off and on. I stopped, basically completely stopped dealing with him. So that was the first, after Aunt Jean, Uncle Larry, and Aunt Vanessa, they all passed away. Aunt Vanessa passed away while I was working at Lowe's too. So she passed away before Nooka, or it was one of them was, no, Nooka was first, and then it was Aunt Vanessa. And then after them two, then it was Pills. Because all of these, I'm just piecing together, like all of them was to hurt me. And then to even hurt me, to not let me, or to not inform me of nothing about nothing, not the wake, not the funeral. Like, that's like really messed up. I just feel like it's really like, and then all other times y'all know y'all don't communicate with me or you or other family members telling me, and you mean to tell me, like, I just can't get it out my head. But it's like I pieced it together, and it was like I realized that I was talking about these people in my diary, so this is why this happened. It can't be no other reason. You're not gonna make me believe that it wasn't. Like, they trying to make me believe that, Uwap didn't want to be here because he wanted to be with Auntie, and I don't believe that. Because if that's the case, he would have did that right after she passed away. Why didn't he do that then if that's what he wanted to do? So I'm not believing that. I don't know. I just feel like all of these passing aways that don't happen is because I was speaking about them in my diary, and people wanted to use that against me, to hurt me, to make me feel like, oh, you, like, I don't know, I guess like, oh, I don't got nothing else to live for, or I don't know, some kind of weird stuff like that. Something is just giving me weird, like, not even weird, it's giving me very unnormal, very strange. But I don't know, I just need to come on here and say that because I just feel like that's what it is. Like, I just had, like I said, I had an aha moment. And then I think what really kind of triggered it was when I started thinking about Rosemary, like, or Rosemary and Uwap. Like, once I started thinking about both of them, and I just sat there thinking about it, that's what is making me feel like, yep. Because I don't know, like, I don't know how, but then again, I do know how, because I'm like sitting here thinking like, okay, so if somebody did get a hold of my diary, right? 2712 on the recording. If somebody got a hold of my diary, which I know that is the case. I know that's the case. I know that for a fact. Um, Out of everything else that I had in my little storage unit, out of everything else, like, um, I would have figured it would have like went to somebody to get, or like somebody trying to like sell something, like, say if you're trying to sell something at like the pawn shop, but I feel like it would be something more, I don't know, significant, or more like, they say, like, they be like, okay, so I got this right here, so like basically trying to sell this to somebody, like they trying to sell, um like a celebrities, like, sex tape is kind of giving me the vibe of that, but only with my diary. It would be that kind of thing, but with my diary, and it's not a sex tape. But I don't know. Maybe there could be something about a sex tape too, since I'm bringing that up. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Cause it's like somebody had to, and it could be something significant about two people, or one person giving it to another person, or something like that. As far as my diary, like handed it off to one person, and then that person giving it to somebody else. But it's all being transactions, or something being done in between, or like a middleman type energy, or something like that. That's what's is making me think, make me feel. Yep, but like I said, I just needed to come here on here and get that out, because I feel like it's an aha moment for me when I was just sitting here thinking about it or whatever. Like I tend to do a lot of the time when I'm not watching something online or whatever, or I'm not doing the reading or whatever. So yeah, yep, that's what I feel. That's what I feel it is. And then I feel like it was done too because they wasn't successful with me. Even though people done made attempts on my life, and I know that for fact. I know that it's probably been more than one time that it's been done. because of my diary and what I wrote in there. People don't try to hurt me, and I feel like that's why all these people in this world are having people that their loved ones, they're sacrificing them and hurting them and killing them or setting them up in these situations to be harmed and stuff for for the ultimate out goal is a profit of some kind of way, shape, or form. But I feel like from here on out, if anybody try, you're gonna how you say, you're gonna fail before you succeed. So even before you could try to succeed, you're gonna fail some kind of way, for some way, shape, or form. You gonna have some kind of major backfire or whatever happens to you, because my stuff wasn't supposed to be done like that. That is not what I saw when I started writing my diary and I wrote in there, because I did write it in there. I was like, oh, if this be found, I want it to be used for how did I say? I wanted it to be used for I forgot how I wrote it, but I know I wrote in there. I'm like, if this be found, I want it to be used for but that didn't mean like, even though I wrote that in there, you would think somebody still would have tried to give it back to me. Not because I know I wrote my name in there too. Because it wasn't even done being like, I had, like I talked before, I had so many pages left to write in there. So I wasn't even done with it. But it's like maybe I worded it. I should have never wrote it like that. I should have just wrote my name in there. But I know that I wrote in there and said, like, if it was to be found, that I wanted to be used for, like, basically to try to help people. But I really wanted to do that on my terms, not on nobody else's terms and what they thought for it. And that's what I regret the most, is that when I wrote that in there like that, I just should have wrote my name in there. I shouldn't have wrote anything else. But then who knows? Somebody still probably would have did what they did with it. They still would have went and did what they did, probably, more than likely, half and half. I just don't know for certain. But yeah, it definitely gave me the vibe like it was sold to like the highest bidder or whatever, because it's no coincidence around stuff that was happening um after I lost connection with it. Like, it's no coincidence, and up until now, with stuff regarding family members, childhood friends and stuff, and all of that, is no coincidence about it. 3333 on the recording is no coincidence. It ain't no coincidence. It can't be. I don't believe that it is. Just all the stuff that I had to experience, um as far as people saying out the way stop type stuff to me. And then you hear people, when I was at these jobs, you hearing them saying certain stuff, like they trying to be discreet about it, but they not really being too discreet, because you still hearing them say certain stuff or whatever. But nobody will come to you and ask you nothing. Nobody will come to you and say nothing. Nobody confirmation. Nobody will come to you and do none of that. But everybody has something to say. But nobody ain't come to you to ask you nothing. Nobody wanted to confirm neither, no side or nothing, not the good, the bad side, the indifference or whatever. Nothing. Nobody is still to this day. Nobody has done that. Not even my family members or so-called family members. No, everybody rather prefer to gang stalk you, and they just prefer to do that. And they'll rather work with the enemies and the people that so-called love them, and the people that so-called is their friends and their lovers and whatever the hell they title is. They rather work with them though. Yep, they rather work with them. And then they wonder why I be keeping my distance. And then it's like it's a whole thing with that too with people that don't pass away. It's like a whole thing to try to like uh make me feel like I have to come, like I'm gonna do that anyway because it's my family. Like I know I don't have a choice, but I'm still gonna look at stuff sideways. Like I'm still looking at things sideways. Like I can't look at stuff the same like I did because it's just I just been I don't want to say I've been gone too long, but I just been my eyes and everything been open to see too much. I feel like that's what it is, and I just can't. Like I said, like I don't feel like anybody could be trusted. That's just how I feel, and it just hurt that I want to be around my mom. Like I miss talking to my mom. I miss seeing my sisters and stuff. I miss being around them, but I most definitely miss seeing my niece, their kids. Like I was just wondering about them the other day, how everybody doing, because I don't get to see. I only seen like two of my niece's kids, and I haven't seen none of the other ones in a minute. And it's just like I don't know how much comfortable I feel around being around everybody like that, because everybody I know that people was trying to do certain stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and state that that's what I came to realize. Like it's coming to me. Like I feel like in bits and pieces. I don't know, and I feel like it's like I already knew this, but it's just like I'm reconfirming it or whatever. But it's like I already knew. But yeah, definitely like it's just reconfirming, or it's just being reconfirmed, and it's being more clear of how I feel like what it is. Again, like with that whole situation and stuff, I don't feel like nothing is a coincidence. None of what's been going on regards to that has been a coincidence. Has not been a coincidence at all. Cause it make me feel like, damn, did somebody send the ex that they know is my ex, the one they know for sure, the one that they continue to talk to after we really separated from each other? Did somebody like? I'm wondering, like, did somebody send him to me? Like, it's making me question that. Like, I don't even want to get into detail about that, but I just like, damn, was he sent to me as a fucking excuse my French, like was he sent to be like it was a purpose that, but I don't know. I feel like somebody sent him to me, like just like I feel like with the other people that I was dealing with, or they say I'm dealing with, or whatever it was dealing with. Like it was a reason why I was supposed to interact with them. It was a purpose for that, or it was an intention, a purpose and an intention behind it. It wasn't just because, or it just happened naturally. It was like it was something that was put together by somebody else. And that's why it's like I don't even really feel comfortable dealing with nobody else around me, because I just don't know what their true intentions was or is. Like I don't know if somebody's intentions is um yeah, I just don't know what nobody's intentions is. I don't know how comfortable I feel with dealing with anybody else from where I live at. I don't feel comfortable with it no more. Like I've been, it's just like it's a whole turn off. It's like I'm totally turned off. Like I want to, but then I'm like I'm so hesitant. Dang, I'm almost biting on my tongue. Like I'm so hesitant now, cause it's like I notice when I go on, you go on the platforms, you notice that people are. It's not as like as if people friends with people just because they want to have more people that's following them or subscribe to them, or are they subscribing and following these people's for more different or deeper reasons? Like, and I'm seeing that, so it's like, damn, oh, I didn't know you was following them. Like, you know, I'm seeing that, so I don't know. I don't know. It's like I question everything now. Like, these people, these last family members and childhood friend, that all of that was since 2020. All of that has not been no coincidence. It's all been done with a purpose, intentionally. Whatever whatever it may be, whatever small or bigger may be, or however many parts is connected, it's all been on purpose. It ain't no coincidence. But let me get off of here because I've been on talk for a whole hour, and that's not even necessary with this video right now.